Here we are for part 3 of the Calm, Confident Parenting Workshop, and I'm going to be giving you the best question to end your daily battles. You are not going to keep asking the wrong question, which is, why are you doing this? And why can't you be different? Friend, the right question, the best question to end your daily battles is, are you ready to scrape your driveway now? Are you ready to scrape your driveway now? Let me explain. I live here in Montana where we have snow come down and it's a lot of work. You're like legally required to shovel the driveway and the sidewalk especially so that people can walk on the sidewalks. You have to do it every time it snows. And sometimes I get out there and put all my gear on and I shovel and it's a lot of work. It's like you get sweaty. It's hard, especially if a lot came down, but you do it and you're like, okay. Sometimes then it'll snow again. And I'm just like, I don't want to deal with this today. And so I'll not deal with it. And guess what? Often then the temperature will drop. It turns into like a sheet of ice. And then I'm battling against that the whole rest of winter. Like instead of it just being hard because I'm scraping, it's double hard because I'm scraping and fighting against this like bumpy layer of ice on the bottom. And I wish I had just scraped my driveway when it was the easiest. And I gotta tell you, that's right where you're sitting right now. That if your kids are under the age of 13, you're at the easiest phase you will ever be at to make an impact in their future. You're at the easiest phase you'll ever be at to change patterns in your relationship and to be able to help them know how to manage their emotions better, to be able to help build their skills of how to solve problems and be more self-aware and thinking on their own. You're at the best phase for them to really understand boundaries and know how to thrive within those right now. And so I want to invite you to the gateway to truly having all that you need to be that calm, confident, equipped parent you always wanted to be. It's so simple. I offer a mentorship program where you have a self-paced course, so you get all my very best secrets. You have mentorship with me personally, a licensed counselor right there as a sounding board, answering your questions, helping you solve the problems that are coming up. And you do so in a community of other parents who give you more accountability and encouragement and validation that you are not alone. The only thing it requires of you, friend, is that you claim it for yourself. No one else can do that for you. No one else can take the step to say, yes, I deserve this. I deserve every bit of happiness. I deserve every tool that I've been missing in order to be able to get my child more cooperative. I deserve it. And you do, friend. You totally do. So let's get started.
It's been life-changing for Shannon and I, and how we parent and what I've seen out of his reactions to how I would normally enter a situation.
But we don't have an easy one, and this stuff really, really works.
And there were a lot of things I didn't think would work, and I'd be like, no way, but I'll try it. And then it did work. And I was like, oh.
I just had felt so scattered in the way I was approaching my parenting that kind of paring it down was really, really helpful for me. It just kind of helped me come up with with tools that were concrete and easy to use, and that I didn't feel like some parenting books had told me every kid's going to need 15 minutes a day. And so I'm like setting a timer and moving from room to room, and then we're late for bedtime because I'm not getting enough time in with every kid, that 15 minutes expectation that I had set for myself. And then I felt like a failure. So when it was all in one place and much simpler, then I was able to start seeing success a lot more. And happy mom is happier kids. You know what I mean?
What I would do was utilize my kindness and be kind, be kind, be kind, be kind. And then I'm getting stretched too thin. And then I would explode into monster mom so bad. And it was so confusing for my toddler because he was like, Mom, you were being so nice. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're monster mom.
Yeah.
And I could not keep parenting like that. It was not effective. It was straining our relationship. It was straining my husband and I's relationship. I went to my husband and I said, it's time for us to make some changes. How do you feel about this? And it took him a couple days to come around. But once he started seeing me implementing what I learned from your webinar, he was like, okay, I can see how this is gonna work for us. And so he jumped on board, and ever since then he was just like, I can't believe that, you know, he's like, this has just been worth every penny that we've paid. And for my husband to say that is huge.
It's just helped out so much, and just staying calm and being perceptive to their emotions and how they're feeling, and they just respond so much better to me, and that's helped out a lot.
I'm through this work uncovering a lot of my own patterning from how I was parented, you know, which I knew intellectually but haven't necessarily processed physically or physiologically. And so I'm watching myself undo patterns that are generations rich, you know, and that feels huge, and it feels really hopeful. It feels really hopeful. One other thing is that the way that Flora has structured it with these, you know, 2 sessions in the week, and then you get, depending on, I guess, what level you choose, you get like a one-on-one interaction with her. It just creates like this traction because everything's building on everything else. That feels really important. As opposed to like a 1 hour something once a month or so. It feels really rich and full. And so each week I feel like I'm practicing something, and then I can have an accountability, and then I can check in on it. And so I really feel the traction.
Lucy is our 1.5-year-old, and then we have she has 3 older brothers. They are 7, 6, and 4. My husband's military, and he's a pilot, so he works a lot of long hours away.
And it always seemed like the only focus of our family was trying to manage children's behavior. Rachel and I never got time together. We didn't go on dates very often. We didn't get to do a whole lot of things together because we were always just moving from one child's emotional upset to the next child's emotional upset, or sometimes all 4.
Like I was tired of fighting about parenting and not having kind of a united way to deal with things, and so that's been a whole lot better. I realized I was doing way too much for our kids, and I was stretching myself too thin while also not teaching them skills that would benefit them as well, not setting those healthy boundaries because I was scared to, honestly. I felt like if I did, then it was just going to be a tantrum forever. And I found that has not been the case at all. And I found that the tools she gives, like making a plan for things and following through, has been extremely helpful for really resolving almost any problem we've had.
The thing I like about the techniques and the strategies, for one, is that they are techniques and strategies. It's not trying to fit everybody's children into a rigid box that if you parent exactly this way, then your children will behave this way, and then we'll all be perfect parents with perfect children that look exactly the same. But it teaches you tools and techniques and encourages you to apply them in your own ways in the situations that are specific to you and your family. Basically, in conclusion, I'd like to say that while things are definitely not, cookie cutter perfection, they are a lot better,
Mhm.
and we're more on the same page. The kids are more aware of what to expect, and they're also becoming a lot better at recognizing the causes of their upsets and working through those upsets on their own.
But with each thing we learned, I found my confidence growing that, hey, kind of whatever happened, we could figure this out.
Biggest change, I don't have the arguments, I don't have the fights. I mean, both myself and my daughter are bullheaded, and stubborn. So when we battle, it's pretty good. But we've been able to avoid most of those.
I mean, before Zach and Mary would go at it and I would just like freeze and I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is not good, but I can't step in because he started it. Now it's pretty calm and mellow. We're on the same page. We can kind of see where each other are going.
I would say do it. To anybody who's thinking about it, just do it. I mean, it's worth every penny to not have to fight with your kid, to be able to just talk to him and just get him to do what you want. It's worth it. It really is.